They said his size would frighten the world. They called him a silent mountain of muscle and power, a creature to be viewed from behind reinforced glass. But they were wrong. They never realized that beneath the terrifying appearance of Caesar the gorilla lived a soul dying of a very human disease: loneliness. Caesar was born into love, but his world collapsed in stages. His father was a sturdy anchor, his mother a source of affection touched by a strange, lingering sadness. He believed life would always be a series of gentle, predictable circles. Then his parents fell ill and vanished, one after the other. From that moment, his mountain crumbled. The warmth faded, and the world transformed into a desolate place he couldn't repair. He stopped eating. Food became a hard lump in his throat that no medicine could dissolve. People said he was depressed. They said he needed clinical treatment. But Caesar wasn't sick. He was just waiting. He was waiting for a warm embrace that he feared would never return. Then Mabel arrived. She was a stray cat, a tiny soul who didn't know she was supposed to be afraid of a 400-pound silverback. When they first met, the air in the enclosure was thick with tension. But Mabel didn't hesitate. She walked directly toward the giant, nestled into his massive, empty arms, and claimed him. That night, Caesar held her so tightly it was as if he had finally found a haven in the center of a storm. In a single day, they became two halves of a whole. They shared the sunshine, they played, and they healed. People watched in awe as the massive gorilla hugged the tiny cat like a lost treasure finally returned to its rightful owner. But this happiness was viewed as a threat by the outside world. The zoo began receiving complaints. Critics argued that the arrangement was unnatural and put Mabel's safety at risk. They claimed it prevented Caesar from socializing with his own kind. Under the weight of public pressure, the authorities made a heart-wrenching decision. They separated them. The mountain collapsed a second time. Shortly after the separation, Caesar fell critically ill. Within 2 weeks, he was moved to a medical center, his life force fading. Even as his consciousness slipped away, he kept raising his hand, pointing repeatedly to a single picture on the wall, a photo of Mabel. They finally understood. They brought her back. Mabel stared at him, chirping quietly by his side over and over. It wasn't modern medicine that saved him. It was her presence. His body recovered with a speed that defied explanation. As time passed and Caesar's body continued to age, Mabel remained his constant. Then one morning, everything changed. The keepers discovered Mabel was pregnant. From that moment on, Caesar became a silent, towering guardian. He wrapped his broad arms around her to shield her from cold winds. He ensured she had the best of every meal. When she finally gave birth to a litter of kittens, Caesar shrank into a corner, watching silently. For a moment, a quiet doubt filled his heart. Do they still need a monster like me? After a few days, Mabel answered him. She carried the smallest, most fragile kitten in her mouth and placed it directly in front of him. Those hands, the ones the world deemed dangerous, were trembling. As the tiny kitten explored the fur of his massive chest, they both understood what it truly means to carry pure, unconditional trust. Observations and scientific recordings call this an unusual interspecies bond. But the truth is simpler. They were just two souls lost in a desert, confirming each other's existence through a touch. Caesar is a gorilla, and his life was saved by a cat. He learned that loneliness knows no fear, but the true terror is being lost in a vast universe without finding a spark that matches your own. But here is the truth that should spark a fire in your heart. We claim to be the most advanced species on Earth, yet we are the only ones who try to regulate who is allowed to love. We tore them apart because of a rule, nearly killing a sentient being in the process. Is our obsession with natural order just a mask for our own inability to understand a love that transcends boundaries? And if a gorilla can show more loyalty and protection to a stray cat than most humans show to their own neighbors, who is truly the primitive animal in this story? Write your thoughts in the comments. Was the zoo right to separate them for safety? Or is human interference the most dangerous thing in the world?